down to a new deal. You know, his contract has expired or is expiring at the end of the year, and talks of a new deal has been on. To Wolf, the principal or the Mercedes boss, has given assurance that that is no-brainer, as they're sure of tying him down to another contract. Plus Super Eagles Watch, where we get to look at the performance of Super Eagles players in the various leagues across the world. And today in sports history, where we serve you those important and landmark events in the world of sports that occurred on this particular day, 21st of December, over the years. These are more we have for you on the program, so sit back and enjoy yourself. I'm joined as usual on the program today by Austin Arome. Austin, it's good to have you.
Sorry, good to be here.
And Blessing Bassi.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Together we shall do our best to make sure that you have a very, very enjoyable time with us in the next 1 hour. Sit back, we'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll go back into the main issues of the day. Back to the Grand Sports Center, and like we said in the introduction, the League Management Company, the LMC, has finally confirmed that December 27th will be the commencement date for the Nigerian Professional Football League. And well, this is the first time they are confirming. Others that actually came out last time to say other dates that were stated did not come from them, but this time around they are categorical about it. So we're looking forward to the next 5 days to see the league commence. Austin, how good is this news?
I think it's a good news, you know, that they are coming out to confirm this time, you know, unlike the previous times where it was actually reported, or let's say it was rumored. But right now, I just pray it is not too late at this point. And I know why I'm saying this, because we have representatives, you know, in the CAF competitions, but then it's always good to have your league back.
Yes, indeed. And Blessing, they said the reason why they actually had not started all the while is because they wanted to ensure appropriate compliance with clubs' licensing regulations, among other regulatory requirements from clubs. Well, these are genuine issues, because we need to get it right. We need to make sure that the provisions for registration for the league are met by the clubs, just like the female league, when Aisha Falode said that if it's only 5 teams, they're ready to go. So I'm sure that was what the LMC was actually doing. So we are assured now that we are good to go, that all the teams are ready to go, and even the fact that they are coming to confirm it, though it's been in the air, but coming to confirm it 5 days of time, we are sure that the clubs will be ready to start on Saturday.
Well, there are a lot of things surrounding this league starting. You know, if you'd ask me, I would say at this time of the year, they are obviously late, because I feel, you know, there are lots of time, and there are a lot of time a time whereby the league should have kicked off. You know, I get the fact that they are probably trying to put things in place, but at the same time, you know, why does it have to come towards the very end of the year?
Well,
all this boils down to the fact.
If you ask me, I'll say it's better late than never. We've been shouting and clamoring that the league should start. Now it's finally started, and we're here talking about the timing.
Yeah.
Well, in as much as the timing may be not be too palatable, given that it's the season and everything, but then it's starting, that's the news.
Yeah.
And they have also come up with quite a number of interesting regulations that will ensure that the league is actually worth the while for both the clubs and the fans. Chief amongst which is the television deal which they had with a UK-based production company. And this time around, they are going to have the league streamed, and which means that they're going to have an app that viewers can subscribe to, and then get a point of watching league matches. How good is this?
I would say it's a right step in the right direction. You know, what makes a league, is part of it is due to the fact that you have access to, these matches. If you're playing league matches and you're playing it as if you're playing it behind closed door, no one is watching, no one is having access to it, both on TV and at times, the stadium. So I believe it's actually a good one that we will finally get to see, Nigerian club sides playing on our screen. So it's something that excites me. And I like that idea.
And not just on your screen, you have access to it wherever you are, on your mobile app, on your phones and every other thing. Well, Blessing, given the fact that last league season was run without a sponsor, and you could tell that the financial burden on the LMC was much because things were not as it was supposed to be. This time around, with the coming of a sponsor, the LMC is promising it's assuring of a robust revenue distribution amongst the clubs with the minimum guaranteed revenue to payment from the LMC partnership with the UK-based television production company, which means the clubs are assured of some revenue coming from the league this time around. How good is this?
Well, I believe the club obviously have money at present, to run things. Another thing is consistency. If they reassure us that these things, are readily in place, at the same time, we should see a stable environment where it's not just all about saying these things. They should, they should work.
They should work.
So.
Yes. And apart from that, they're also ensuring that some personal awards that used to be in the league. We knew how the league was run when it had a sponsor, but and also when it was run when it didn't have a sponsor. Some of these things were lacking, were missing from last season or the season before that, and we now have the return of basic performance incentive payments to MPL participating clubs, such as basic award, that is for guaranteed payments, that's for participating in the league at all. There's an amount of money the LMC will pay to the clubs. Also, there's a technical performance award, which is a payment earned by clubs based on milestones they have achieved in the league. We also have the merit award, which is prize money distributed to club based on their final standing on the league table, and so many others coming in to actually galvanize and encourage the clubs this season.
Well, it's a good thing. It's a step in the right direction. If only what they have at hand, it shows that the meeting they had previously was actually worth it, and it was rich enough, because if they have these various plans, I believe that the LMC have something big to offer. The fact that there will be a lot of awards, and the fact that they are possibly trying to push the league forward, and the fact that league management and teams should better perform to, at the end of the day, end this award.
Yes, indeed. And the prize money for the winners for this year's league is 75 million for the winners, 50 million for the prize for the first runner-up, and of course 35 million for the third place teams. How big is this amount? Are we not just well, compared to other leagues, other clients?
Yeah.
Well, we all operate on different platforms,
yeah,
different level of operation. But this is a good start, if you ask me.
Yeah, I would say it's a good start. And for once, I'll say it's the first of its kind. This is the first time, a winner.
It's been happening, though.
It's been happening, but this is the first time a winner will get, this high. Before it used to be, when they just share the money around, But one thing about having a prize money is that it's going to increase, the competitive nature of the league. Teams will they will hustle hard to make sure that they get that prize money, because they know what the money is going to do to their club and how it's going to help them in the running of the club, the day-to-day running of the club. So I think it's going to improve the competition, it's going to improve the league, and as a matter of fact, I like the idea that we're going to have players being given awards. It's also going to give, you know, the morale needed by the players to try to want to kick on, to try to want to push. You know, it's going to make our league attractive again, and I believe it's a good one.
And just to add to it, there are also going to be awards and cash prizes for bonuses for clubs that record away wins and away draws, just to encourage more level of competition amongst the clubs. So clubs that record away wins are entitled to special bonuses, and all in a bid to ensure that this idea of home teams must always win is actually put to rest, to ensure clubs to go away to try and secure victories, and also to encourage clubs to bring fans to the stadium, to do what they can to get their fans in the stadium. Also, clubs that have as much as 5,000 fans at home matches are also going to be given special award. If you ask me, I must say these are very good and laudable programs and plans by the league management company. We hope that it works. Just like Blessing said, it's enough. It's not just enough to say it, but let's make sure that everything works out very, very well. But then one final thing concerning this league issue: the fact that the clubs are still being run by government. Moving forward, is this where what we should be talking about now?
Well, I don't think that's what we should be talking about now. We should be talking about the club obviously running. That's basically what we want.
Privately owned, right?
Yes,
as it's done in other
owned,
countries and across the world.
Yes, I think the basic thing is let's kickstart this league, and we leave it to people that are privately owned, to run this club and really give us what we really want from, this basic league.
Can the league actually survive without government full participation?
I think it can't at this point in time. We still have a very long way to go. Now, if you're going to have private owners, private involvements in the running of the club, it means we're going to have a situation where the salary of the players is going to drop drastically because of the fact that these club sites might not have that that resources to maintain it.
Because it depends on the private owner.
Yeah, it depends on the
private owner is very buoyant. They can afford to pay.
Yeah, but then if you want to go into a business, you are going there to make a profit. So what's the need of you running a club if you know you're not going to get profit from it?
Well, also, if you ask me, there's always a gestation period for any business.
Yeah.
So if you come in, you will not expect to start making money immediately. Well, this is a question for another day. I'm just preempting something because I know that what the LMC has is very, very good, very, very attractive. And should it work out as they have outlined it, it will be very good for Nigerian football. But then we just want to see Nigerian teams, Nigerian football going to the next level of more private involvement, because that is when the big bucks start rolling in. Because when private individuals take over the league, they run professionally for the purpose of making money, and when that happens, it means that across board everybody will begin to benefit. So we wish the LMC well, and we look forward to the league starting on Saturday. Take a short break and we'll come back. We have more for you on the Grand Sports Center. Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center. And moving on, we're going to talk continental football. As you know, on Wednesday, the first leg matches in this year's CAF competitions in both the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederations Cup will be played across the continent of Africa. And two Nigerian teams will be are very much involved in the CAF Champions League. Eyimba will be playing against El Merreikh in Sudan, and in the CAF Confederations Cup, Rivers United will be up against Bloemfontein Celtics of South Africa. Both teams are already in Sudan and South Africa respectively. We understand that the 38-man contingent of Rivers United touched down in Johannesburg, South Africa yesterday, and they are very much ready to take on Bloemfontein Celtics. Given the fact that the manner in which they qualified for this stage, they lost 2-1 away, won 2-1 away, fair penalties. Bloemfontein Celtic also had to go through penalty shootout together. So I would say both teams are equally matched.
Yeah, equally matched. Going into this game, Rivers United, one of the best teams in the Nigerian Professional League, and Bloemfontein Celtic, they've also been there. So it's going to be a tough one, a tough cracker for Rivers United. But one thing they don't have on your side is this match fitness. That's what we keep pondering about. That's what we've been talking about all week. And this is something I believe is going to count against them, until the fact that Bloemfontein Celtic, their league is on. So they've been able to assess how far the team have come. But then the Rivers United side, at the back of their last match, I think they've not played any match, up to this point in time, and they are going to play another competitive match again. If you ask me, I don't think it's in their favor at this point in time. But then they are professionals, and they should be able to do their job professionally. So I just wish them luck in this game. Actually.
Yes, indeed. I'm talking about Eyimba. Eyimba will be in Sudan. Then El Merreikh, a more experienced side. They played in continent before. 1989, they won the Winners' Cup, and they have been very much around the CAF competitions. But they will not be playing this match in their traditional home ground because it's undergoing renovation. They're playing in the ground of their rivals, El Hilal of Sudan. And also, crowd will not be allowed in. So will this work in Eyimba's favor in any way?
I kind of think that it's going to work in Eyimba's favor in a way. Eyimba one of the league favorites, in this competition.
And won it before twice?
Yes, twice. Yes, and I think they'll obviously make it to the group stage. They can, like you said, they are playing without spectators or fans. That's every time they say that they can, make it to the next round. And there's, I feel they should be able to do better in that game against America. After all, they did well against Raimo FC in their previous encounter. So I think they have an upper edge, especially with the fact that there are no fans and it's a 50-50 event.
Yes, indeed, 50-50, and I'll take you on that because the fact that there are no fans, it's going to affect El Merreikh, we know. Yeah. But don't forget that they are coming back to play, affect Eyimba as well. Looking at the last round of matches, you mentioned Raimo. Eyimba won 1-0 away. Thinking that fine, they will come back home here and maybe spank Raimo 2-0. They were able to play a 1-1 draw, which means the fact that they took advantage of the lack of fans in Burkina Faso against Raimo. Raimo also took advantage of the lack of fans in Aba. Also for Rivers United, they lost 2-1 in the Equatorial Guinea to Futuro Kings in the last round, and now they came back to Port Harcourt, thinking that for them to have been able to score a goal at least in Equatorial Guinea, they should be able to whip Futuro. Futuro also came here and scored a goal, ended 2-1. So this issue of lack of fans, how important is it in these fixtures?
Well, it's dwindling because you can't even say because there's no fans and you probably
because
have
if it works in your favor,
yes,
it will also work in favor of the opposing team when it comes.
Well, I feel they should, they have the advantage of obviously, performing at against El Merreikh because it's better to, you know, since you're playing the first leg away, try as much as possible, you know, to get points, you know, so that when you're back, it's an advantage for you to, you know.
And the issue of our league, not start, you mentioned it earlier, and on the part of Eyimba, league may not have started, but they are very experienced at this level of the game. So do you think that that will be able to kind of cancel out whatever adverse effect they're not playing regular football in the league?
Yeah, I think if you look at the team critically, this Eyimba side, they are more experienced than the Rivers United side, even more experienced than the Elmerek side. You know, this Elmerek side is another team that has evolved. A lot of Sudanese players in the team, unlike what we used to have, where you see, you know, players from all over Africa, you know, converging at that point. So I believe with the experience on their side, I believe they have the chance and they can actually pull through.
So we wish them the best of luck. Take a short break, and when we return, more for you on the Grand Sports Center. Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center, and moving on, Super Eagles coach Ginotra has been in the news for the wrong reasons in recent times, since after the not too impressive performance by the Super Eagles in the double header against Sierra Leone, where they had to forfeit a 4-goal lead to end the match 4-4 in Benin, and of course going over to Freetown to also play at the 0-0 draw with the Leon Stars. A lot has been said since after that match, more scrutiny of its activities as Super Eagles coach, more scrutiny of his contract terms, and this has led to some revelations that had to do with the fact that a compensation clause of $2 million was inserted in his contract, and which makes it quite difficult for the NFF to actually dispense with the services at any time they like, because for them to do that before the expiration of his contract without any tangible reason, without him having to have flaunted any of the rules or regulations binding him to that contract, it means that the NFF would have to pay compensation of $2 million. That's no small money. And Daniel Amokachi, former Super Eagles coach, former Super Eagles player and coach as well, was part of a technical crew when Nigeria won the African Cup of Nations in 2013 in South Africa, after having been part of the team that won it as a player in 2004, in 1994 in Tunisia. So Daniel Amokachi says that amount is outrageous, and he has carpeted the NFF for even agreeing to such terms. What do you make of it all?
Yeah, I think it's actually outrageous. 2 million clause. When you're bringing a coach and you're giving that coach all these bonuses, you're giving that particular coach what I choose to call bread and butter. You know, already that coach is coming with the mind that, you know, whatever happens, you know, I'm going to go with this amount of money. So if you want to bring in a coach, you can, you know, insert clause that will make the coach want to work hard, not, you know, giving the money outrightly. I'm not saying, you know, giving the money to the coach is actually a bad one, but the fact is, if you want to bring in a coach, you know, to make sure that that coach performs, you know, you need to insert certain clause, you know, for him to be qualified, for him to even qualify for that money. So at this point in time, I believe
win-win for Ganatroa.
Yeah, it's a win-win for Ganatroa in this case.
And given the fact that Nigerian coaches, such as Sunday Olise, was in the saddle before Ganatroa came, and I'm sure he never enjoyed this kind of benefits. And of course, given the fact that Nigeria, as a country, we pay this coach with taxpayers' money, and many people were not privy to this clause in the contract. Do you feel that it's high time that going forward, subsequently, terms of Super Eagles coaches, not just Super Eagles coaches, coaches of probably foreign coaches coming to Nigeria should be made public, because we deserve to know as Nigerians, so that anything that may not augur well for Nigeria in the future would have to be spelled out and dealt with immediately. What do you think? This secretary shrouding coach, even the coach, the Nigerian Cricket Federation actually engaged recently. Not much is known about it, though sometimes they tell you that the terms of the contract is private, but we hear of coaches that are engaged in other climes and they give you what and what, the amount involved, and some other terms and conditions. Well, what do you make of it all? This money that we used to pay the coaches, taxpayers' money, so we deserve to know, don't you think so?
Of course, that's the thing, especially with Nigerian football. I mean, like you said, we need to know what goes down. If you are inviting a coach, let's even know beforehand that, okay, this is the foreign coach we are going to invite, and let's know the budgets or the finance or the money surrounding the coach, whether it's a certain amount of money that is being paid, whether it's a salary or whether it's for any compensation or whatever it is. Let's know that that's how most of these foreign clubs are being run. Publicly, we need to know what's obviously going on, because I feel I'm very sure if it were to be a Nigerian coach that were to be honestly
we don't get such. And of course, and of course, we also know that the engagement of coaches by Nigerian Football Federation has been done by the NFF themselves. Going forward, do you think that it should be contracted out? Because I'm sure if the professionals that handle this, that know how to go about this kind of business, that know how to engage human resources experts and all whatnot, I'm not sure that we'll get this kind of contract that are actually not working in our favor.
Yeah, I think so. If you engage professionals, just like you said, they'll know what they're supposed to insert in the clause, and from moving forward, I believe they should actually do that, hand it over to professionals who can handle that, and run your administrative duties. That's my take.
So at this junction, we should just hope that Ganatroa gets it right with Super Eagles, because even if he doesn't, we fail to qualify for Qatar, the World Cup in Qatar, which is the next assignment, and also the Nations Cup, which is still not yet done and dusted. We may find it difficult to do away with his services because of this clause. So let's just keep on praying for him so that he does well and run down his contract. If at the end of the contract they still want to retain him, then they could actually renegotiate this part of the contract. So it's still the Grand Sports Center. We're still moving on to the program, but we'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll talk about the league, some of the matches that were played across Europe last weekend. Some interesting results came up. 7-0 spanking of Crystal Palace by Liverpool. Nobody saw that coming. And of course, the 6-2 spanking of Leeds by Manchester United too. Nobody saw that coming. So many other results across Europe that were very, very interesting to talk about. We shall be doing that after this short break. The Grand Sports Center, and we'll start our review of the league matches across Europe from the English Premier League. And we all know the results. Some very interesting results took place, but then we mentioned the 7-0 spanking by Crystal Palace by Liverpool. Blessing 7-0. This is English League, not a Premier League against a Championship team or a League One team. But again, what does it tell you about Liverpool? Champions, they are not ready to let go of their title. Is that the message you're passing across?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, it's like history was made. Goals keep coming, and I was always expecting more goals.
More? How many? 10?
Probably don't need to count.
Not being fair to Crystal Palace at all.
Probably don't need to count the whole players on the field of play, but it was a good one for Liverpool. I believe the title, they're still, still working towards not going down on the league table, and the fact that they are still topping the league, and the fact that they are still title
defending champions. Yeah.
Yes.
So but then, given the fact that Crystal Palace 2 or 3 matches coming into this match against Liverpool were doing very well. I think they beat West Brom. They had a string of victories. Their last match was a victory. They won as well, and everyone thought that fine, Liverpool were going to meet a very safe opposition. And was this Liverpool's victory much more interesting or much more intriguing, given the fact that Crystal Palace it's a very, very tough opposition, not just the normal teams that you see around Premiership?
Yeah, I think going into the match, in the build-up to the game, a lot of pundits actually they actually predicted a win for Liverpool, but then we all thought it was going to be a difficult win for them. But then it was just a routine win with Mohamed Salah coming from the bench, scoring 2 goals.
Okay, now a routine win. Was Man United 6-2 victory valid? It's also a routine win for Man United.
It's also one result that actually surprised a lot of people due to the fact that this United they've been wonderful this season, and in the build up to this game we all thought it was going to be a tough one, and then Man United started the game blazing. McTominay, he played really well yesterday. Even when the lineup was announced, a lot of people were actually skeptical of him playing in that game, but he actually proved himself. And kudos to Manchester United. Their recent results, is actually beginning to turn out well for them.
Are they title contenders?
Yeah, I believe so. At this point in time,
too early.
At this point in time,
who have they beaten?
They've not really beaten anything.
No, I'm not taking it away from Man United, but I'm just trying to see whether we should sound a note of caution, not be too quick to, because everybody's now saying they are title contenders. They were not saying that 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. Then why all of a sudden? That's my point actually.
I think a lot of attention was actually turned to their Champions League performance. Manchester United, they've not been bad in league, especially when they go away. They've been bad at home, but their away form, I don't think there's any team that can compete with them in terms of away form. And the way they are playing and the way other teams are dropping. At one point in time, a lot of people were talking about Tottenham Hotspur being in the race, Chelsea being in the race, but we're seeing them fall out.
And let's talk about Tottenham. Tottenham lost at home to Everton, to Leicester, and the last time they played Liverpool, everybody thought that fine, it was against Liverpool, so it was normal. Liverpool were meant to win, so they won. So and given the fact that Tottenham even had created chances, they were commended. So, but nobody actually saw this slump, because losing 2 matches in a row and 1 at home against your fellow title contenders, because Leicester going to the match were just behind Tottenham, and you lose. It's like a slump in performance for Tottenham. What could have been happening? It's just a Mourinho style, not as effective as it used to be, and it's just and still yet to realize that. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think Jose Mourinho, I think it all boils down to Jose Mourinho, if you ask me. I could remember in the last game when Jose, after playing with Liverpool, he said, "You played against the best team. Come on, We lost.
He said the better side lost.
Yeah.
He refused to admit that
Yes.
he was outplayed. So
of course,
that's what I'm saying, that
we all saw how much.
is it that he's not realizing yet that his style still may not be as effective as it used to be.
He's yet to realize that, honestly, because his style is just way different than every other style of, playing.
Because yesterday, while the match was on, they were playing at home. I could hear the commentators saying that if he was defensive somehow to an extent against Liverpool, you could understand, because they were playing away at Anfield. But they were playing at home at Tottenham Stadium and still employing these tactics. It was something that people were not comfortable with. So that's why I've been asking the question about his style of play, because he has a style. We know him for that style. So maybe he needs to realize and wake up and realize.
Exactly, he needs to, because you have a particular style that everyone is so, everyone is very much aware of. There's every tendency that they'll use that, against you, and that's what happened against the Tottenham side.
Exactly, and Everton and Arsenal, another loss for Arsenal. This is 7-0 this season. So where do we go from here? Is Arsenal actually title contenders or relegation battlers?
At this point in time, it is safe to say the way Arsenal is going, they'll end up, in that relegation battle if they're not careful. They have the players, good players, at least to be a mid-table team. But what we are seeing right now,
mid-table team.
A mid-table team.
We're talking about Arsenal.
Yeah,
supposed to be up there among the top 4.
Yeah, but if you look at the team Arsenal is parading right now, you look at the Tottenham team, despite the fact that they play so defensive. You look at this Man U team, you look at the Chelsea team. Chelsea have invested heavily. So if you look at these things, you see that Arsenal, they are actually behind in terms of personnel, the quality of personnel. So that's why I actually
so it's still personnel, not coach. Is it a matter of personnel? Talk about the Arsenal issue actually.
It's a personnel and it's a coach issue. Arteta has a lot to learn from, because if they obviously leave Arsenal with Arteta with this form, it's going to take a long while, for Arsenal to obviously come to, to better performance, But looking at Arsenal form at this time, I obviously think it's a coaching issue. And
they're not taking it away from Everton. Everton have been doing very well recently. They've won their last 3 matches. So what do you make of your performance?
Yeah, that's part of the reason I was actually saying Arsenal is actually at least a mid-table team. When you look at what other teams have invested, even Everton invested a lot of money going into this season. They brought in the Corey, brought in Alan. These guys are top players.
We're talking about investment. Arsenal has a Pepe that costs about 72 million. They have an Aubameyang. They have a Thomas Partey. So what are you talking about investment?
All round. When you look at this Arsenal team,
David Luiz
had his time.
Chelsea.
Yeah, but Williams is actually...
Well, anyway, let's not get on Arsenal. It's not for us to provide solutions to it. We just like observing what's going on, and we don't think it's so good for a team of Arsenal's pedigree to be in this kind of situation, because we know that they have what it takes to get out of it. But where does the problem lie? Some say it's the personnel, some say it's the coach. Well, we just hope that they're able to sort it out soon. We'll go straight to the Serie A. AC Milan still topping, just 1 point ahead of Inter Milan, but they seem to be grinding out those results here and there. They beat Sassuolo 2-1 away from home, and AC Milan, are we going to see them win the Scudetto this year? They've been consistent right from the first week of the season, and they are still hanging on out there. Are we going to see them go all the way?
Well, AC Milan, I think we will see AC Milan, go further than where they are presently. They've been in form to an extent. I think there's every possibility that they'll make out the top 4.
I like that. That's a modest prediction, because fine, since they are topping, so let's assume things go wrong. Maybe they could just flip back, because breathing down their neck, we have Napoli, we have Juventus. So these are teams in recent times have been doing better than Milan. So you could say anything could still happen in the Italian league this season.
Yeah.
So of this lot, which other team do you think could actually sneak it?
I think right now Juventus are not really there yet, but with the recent result, you can see, that they are beginning to close that gap. Inter Milan, they also in the race, but just like I said the last time on this show, where you asked me if I see AC Milan winning the league, and I told you they are pretenders, they are not actually contenders. Yeah, they should be satisfied with a top 4 finish at least.
Okay, so if Milan are pretenders, what do you make of Napoli? They lost to Lazio 2-0. Lazio is, by the way, also still coming. Just are going to get back to the form they had last season. But Napoli, we are told that with the investment this season in Osimhen and the plans they had, they would have been doing better. Though they are still up there amongst the top 5 or 6 teams. Is it that they are missing Osimhen? So they lost 2-0 to Lazio yesterday.
Yeah, Osimhen has been performing really well for Napoli in recent time. I think they're obviously it's a part of Napoli's,
problem.
Yes, I think they're missing. Right? Yes, because I believe when Osimhen was with Napoli, there were no losses. As much.
They've lost back-to-back matches and against their fellow top teams. So that speaks volume of the mentality of the Napoli team. Yeah. Against the top teams, they seem not to get it right.
I think it's all down to the morale of the player. I think they're actually low on morale at this point in time. Maybe it's because they don't have Osimhen around. They don't have Osimhen around.
I won't subscribe to that in any way. Anyway, away from Italian league, quickly let's talk about the La Liga. And Atletico Madrid consolidated their grip on the top with a 3-1 thrashing of Elche. And I think Real Madrid also won 2-1 against Eibar, 3-1 against Eibar. Then Atletico beat Elche 3-1. Barcelona faltered again, though they didn't lose this time around. They played a 2-2 draw with Valencia. Villarreal beat Osasuna 3-1. So Barcelona, just like Arsenal, are we going to see a Barcelona, a Spanish league, a Spanish league without Barcelona in the top 4? Because I'm not talking about, because they're still there, but then that top 4 seems to be taking shape. We have Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, we have Villarreal. Okay, fine, those 3. But perhaps maybe they could sneak in as top 4. But then you can't actually at this point count them among title contenders, can you?
Well, I wouldn't say. Let's see how 2021 will play out to be, because Barcelona have a way of coming back to form, even if they're not up on the table. They are also title contenders, at least among the top 4. At least with the way the situation is with Barcelona, at least they try as much as possible not to, not to concede as much goals as possible if it's a draw, or a win at this point. But I see them going.
What of Atletico? They look as good. They look good for the title, though.
Yeah, they look good for the title, but then Madrid are actually cooking something.
Real Madrid. They have turned the table, right?
They have turned the table since the return of Ramos and Benzema. They've been winning.
And Hazard.
Hazard has been in and out, but then it's like the return of Benzema and Ramos has actually given them that extra energy. And you know how Ramos, his kind of person. He doesn't take he does not take defeat really well. So I think that mentality is actually pushing it,
well, anyway, there's so much to talk about. I just took a look at, checked the time, and we are almost running out of time. We would have talked so much about this, the issue of Real Sociedad, who are now faltering. They led the table at some point, but they lost to Levante 2-1, and they have slipped down the table. Could it be that water is beginning to find its level? Well, Villarreal too. We can't talk about La Liga, talking about Villarreal. Emery was sacked by Arsenal, and see what he's doing at Villarreal. So, and given his pedigree, who say Villarreal can also go all the way? They beat Osasuna, although Osasuna are the bottom place team, by 3-1 away from home, and so a lot can happen in the Spanish La Liga. That's what we can take on the preview of leagues today. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll just gloss over some of the other issues that we need to talk about as we try to make use of the little time available on the program. Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center, and quickly let's let you know that Utah Jazz now have new owners as the takeover was completed on Friday. They now have a new owner in a tech billionaire, a software company, Qualtrics. Now they are taking over the control of the team from the Miller family, and they are now going to be in charge of the NBA side. They've been involved with the Utah Jazz for a long time as partners, but now they have taken over completely. The deal is settled with about $1.65 billion. That's how much we're talking about. We're talking about Nigerian League a while ago. We're talking about 70 million naira for winners. Just can't compare. We'll not compare actually, but then this is where Nigerian League is going. Not just our own basketball league, our football league, and all our leagues should be heading towards this direction. That's why we're talking about private involvement. When the private sector comes in, that the money actually begins to roll in. So Utah Jazz will wish them the best of luck. And Mercedes, the much talked about issue that has been pending concerning the contract for Lewis Hamilton, the Mercedes boss Toto Wolff has assured that it's a no-brainer, which means that it is as good as a done deal. So Lewis Hamilton is going nowhere. It's going to be tied down to a new deal, and very soon we'll get to hear him talk about that. So Blessing, let's talk about the Utah Jazz deal. This kind of money in basketball. So is there any reason why the NBA cannot be considered as the best basketball league in the world?
Of course, it's the best. It's the best basketball
This kind of money, yeah.
Honestly, it's really huge.
Just one team.
It's huge. It's big. Entrepreneurship is. Honestly, I really don't know how to explain this.
Now you understand why there's so much fuss about the NBA. Yeah. And talking about Toto Wolff and Lewis Hamilton, how reassuring is this for Mercedes-Benz team and their fans?
I think for Toto Wolff to come out this time talking about being a done deal, it means they've done their homework. Kudos to them. Let them continue, to do what they know how to do next season.
And of course, we'll quickly run through the Super Eagles. Watch where we'll get to tell you about performance of Super Eagles players across Europe right away. We're not taking any break. Wilfred Ndidi was voted man of the match in Leicester's 2-0 victory over Tottenham yesterday. The club confirmed on their verified Twitter handle that Ndidi beat off competition from Jamie Vardy, Wesley Fofana, and Mark Albrighton for the award. They pulled a total of 42 votes to win that award. We actually saw him play yesterday. He was in sparkling form. Also, Alex Iwobi, who has been doing very well for Everton, he has started virtually all their matches in the last couple of weeks, and we can now say that he's a mainstay in the Everton team. He's also looking ahead to Wednesday's Carabao Cup match against Manchester United. They have that fixture. It's a quarter-final of the Carabao Cup against Manchester United. He says they are looking forward to that match with great expectation. Given their rich vein of form, they believe that anything could happen. So Everton, they have every right to believe, because they have been doing very well and beating teams. They beat Everton, they beat Chelsea 2 weeks ago, last weekend, on Wednesday. Then on Saturday they beat Arsenal. So two big teams. Who says they can also beat Manchester United? Semi Ajayi had the rare privilege of captaining West Bromwich Albion when they lost 3-0 to Aston Villa yesterday. They may have lost. That was Sam Allardyce's first match in charge of the team, but for Semi Ajayi it was a personal milestone, as he was captain for 53 minutes after the dismissal of Jake Livermore, the captain of the team. He was shown a red card for rough challenge, and in the 7th minute, and they handed the armband over to Semi Ajayi, and the Super Eagles defender actually gave a good account of himself in that match. So congratulations, Semi. William Troost Ekong, who transferred from Udinese to Watford this season, is now finding himself playing under another coach as his former coach was sacked at the weekend. Vladimir Ivic was sacked after the team lost 2-0 to Huddersfield, and in this place is Cisco Monos, a former player of Valencia of Italy. Also recently he was coach of Dynamo Tbilisi of Georgia. They won the last two Georgian championships, so he's a championship winner, so actually bring his experience to bear on Watford. We hope that Troost Ekong will be part of his plans as he adjusts to a new coach. Moses Simon is back doing well for his club. They played a 1-1 draw at the weekend against Angers. I was part of that match, but the bad news is that Nantes have not won in 7 straight matches, and this includes 3 defeats and 4 draws. But then the good news is that Moses Simon is playing, and we hope that he's fully back from injury. Peter Olayinka, Nigerian striker who plays for Czech outfit Slavia Prague, has signed a new contract worth 3.2 million euros, and he has signed a new contract actually, and he will be with the team for the next 2 or 3 years, so to speak. He actually joined the club in 2018 for a fee of 3.2 million euros, and so far in 85 competitive game matches for Sparta Prague, he has scored 17 goals with 10 assists. So wish him well, congratulations on a new contract. And Nonso Madueke, the young player who is on loan from Chelsea to PSV and the Vern, scored at the weekend as they beat RKC Warwick 4-1. He scored the last goal of the match. The 18-year-old is Nigerian, eligible to play for England, also eligible to play for Nigeria. We hope that one day we'll get to see him in the colours of Super Eagles. Then finally, we have this young player, John Wankwo Donald, my namesake. He was in action for Elche in their 3-1 loss to Atletico Madrid on Saturday. He's a central defender. He's 20-year-old. Actually, he was born in Spain, but then he's eligible to play for. He has not played for Spain at any level, and also he's eligible to play for Nigeria. He played for 45 minutes and was withdrawn for tactical reasons. He was also part of Elche's Copa del Rey win over CD Bono 3 days earlier. So this is a young player that I look forward to in the future. His name is John Wankwo Donald. So that's much on Super Eagles players in talking about their performances in Europe, and this is where we wrap it up on today's edition of the Grand Sports Center. Thank you for being there for us. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same station. I'm looking forward always to having you join us. I want to thank Austin Arume for being part of the show.
Thank you for having me.
And Blessing Bassi.
Thank you.
We'll leave you with Today in Sports History as we go. Thank you on behalf of all the entire production crew. Enjoy the rest of the day.